My name is Martin Willitts Jr. I'm going to tell a story intended for a little bit older child, like about third, fourth, or fifth grade. And the reason I'm doing this story is because I want to teach about a story having a beginning, middle, and end. And I'm going to do it with a story that doesn't have a beginning and it doesn't have an end. And it comes from Scheherazade, who is a real person who wrote a book called A Thousand Arabian Nights. And you might have heard of some of the stories she wrote. Sinbad the Sailor, Aladdin, and a whole bunch of others. The legend goes that there was a king who would get mad at certain women, and he would, but she was next, and she saw what was happening, and she decided to tell him a story and never end the story, like a to be continued. So the next day she would have to come back and tell that story and continue it and never end it, and the next day and the next day, and she kept doing that. And this is one of the lesser known stories. It's called The King of the Black Isles. As you remember from yesterday, the king was enchanted. That means somebody put a spell on him and made him stuck to his chair forever, unless he could somehow get all the people back to his kingdom. But the evil person had put a spell and changed all the people into fish, and all the people that are fish had floated away, and the only way to catch all those fish was to have a special net. And you had to be able to go out, cast that net, and bring back those fish to the king. And the enchantment of the people being fish, they would turn back into people, and the king would be able to get off the chair and be able to walk again. Well, first he had to get a net. Now, what would you do to get a net if you couldn't move out of a chair? You would have to call for somebody. So he called for somebody, and somebody came in, but it was a fish. How do you talk to a fish? The king didn't know. And if you want to hear the rest of the story, you have to have me come back again. Now, there's still a beginning and middle of that story, and there's still an end to that story. The first part was setting up that there was a king in a chair. That's the first part of the story. So it's the beginning. And there was a whole bunch of things that happened. Forget about all the fish and everything. There was a lot of things that happened. But it begins with that king sitting on that chair. Then comes the part in the middle where he realizes there's a problem. The problem is everybody's turned into fish. What do you do? And then the end is he has to call for somebody. But they come in, they're a fish. And now how is he going to get a net because he's stuck in that chair. And that's still an ending. So I hope this story has taught you about a beginning, a middle, and an end. Have a great day.